You weigh over 1,000 kilograms. Your eyes are rolled back in your skull. You are moving through the water faster than a car accelerates on a highway, and you cannot see your target. This is a great white shark, 3 seconds before impact. For most of the year, this animal is invisible to almost everyone. It hunts in silence, in cold water, far from land. And yet somehow, this creature has become one of the most misunderstood predators on the planet. So how does a great white shark actually hunt? Not the movie version. The real one. Let's start with the body. A great white can grow past 6 meters long. Its skin is covered in tiny tooth-like structures called dermal denticles, which is just a fancy way of saying its entire body is armored in miniature teeth, all pointing backward, cutting drag as it swims. That's why a shark's skin feels like sandpaper if you rub it the wrong way. This isn't decoration. It's engineering, refined over more than 60 million years, long before whales, long before most modern fish even existed. Now picture the hunt. You are cruising 15 meters below the surface, off a rocky coastline. Above you, a colony of Cape fur seals rests on the rocks, unaware. You are not looking up with your eyes. Your eyes are rolled back to protect them, because you already know exactly where your prey is. How? Electroreception. Great white sharks have organs called the ampullae of Lorenzini, tiny jelly-filled pores clustered around the snout that can detect the faint electrical field every living creature gives off just by having a beating heart and moving muscles. A seal doesn't need to move, doesn't need to make a sound. Its own heartbeat gives it away. Researcher Chris Fallows spent years documenting this exact hunting behavior at Seal Island in False Bay, South Africa, filming great whites launching themselves clear out of the water in explosive vertical attacks now nicknamed breaching. His footage became some of the most replayed shark behavior ever filmed, and it revealed something surprising: the attack itself lasts less than 3 seconds. All the planning happens beforehand, in silence, in the dark water below. Here's the part most people get wrong. You've probably heard that a shark attack is a full-force, teeth-first collision. It isn't, not exactly. Sharks build a mental map of the seal's position using electroreception and vision together, and then commit to a single vertical rush from below, using the low light, and the seal's silhouette against the surface to hide their approach. Speed matters, but timing matters more. Once contact is made, the shark uses something almost nobody expects: restraint. A great white's first bite is often not a killing bite. It's a test bite, sometimes followed by the shark pulling back and waiting. Marine biologist Peter Klimley, who spent decades studying white shark behavior off the California coast, documented this pattern repeatedly. The shark bites, releases, and circles, letting the prey weaken from blood loss before committing further. This isn't hesitation. It's a survival strategy. A struggling seal, or worse, an unfamiliar object that might be a human, could injure the shark's eyes or gills. So the shark tests first. Bite, retreat, assess. That single habit is also the reason most shark encounters with humans end after one bite. We are not on the menu. We are, biologically speaking, a confusing mistake, tested once and then almost always left alone. Now let's reconstruct a full day. At dawn, you cruise the deeper, colder water along the continental shelf, where visibility is low and your electroreception does most of the work. By mid-morning, you rise toward the surface near a seal colony, patrolling the edges rather than the center, because young or injured seals tend to drift toward the boundaries of the group. This is not random luck. It's statistics, built into instinct over millions of years of natural selection favoring sharks that target the easiest, not the boldest, meal. By afternoon, if the hunt succeeds, you won't eat again for days, sometimes weeks. Great white sharks have an extremely slow metabolism for their size. A single seal, rich in fat, can fuel a shark's body for a long stretch of time. This is part of why sharks don't hunt constantly. They don't need to waste effort, and you waste a resource you might not get back. Here's the twist that reframes almost everything about this animal. For decades, the great white shark was treated as a mindless eating machine, largely because of how it was portrayed after the release of the film Jaws in 1975. But long-term satellite tracking research, led by marine biologist Barbara Block, and the organization OCEARCH, has shown something completely different. Great white sharks migrate across entire ocean basins with precision, returning to the same nursery grounds, the same feeding zones, year after year, sometimes crossing thousands of kilometers of open ocean to do it. That is not mindless behavior. That is memory. That is navigation. That is an animal making decisions based on information gathered over multiple years of its own life. Some individually tagged sharks tracked by OCEARCH have been followed swimming from the coast of South Africa toward Australia and back, a round trip longer than crossing entire continents, guided by Q scientists still don't fully understand, possibly involving the Earth's magnetic field itself. Think about that for a moment. An animal often feared as a simple killing machine may actually be using a form of internal compass more precise than most human-made instruments were a century ago. And here's the quiet, uncomfortable mirror this animal holds up to us. Great white sharks kill far fewer people per year than vending machines, than falling coconuts, than domestic dogs. Global shark bite records tracked through the International Shark Attack File at the University of Florida confirm that unprovoked shark bites average only a handful of fatalities worldwide each year. Meanwhile, humans kill an estimated 70 to 100 million sharks annually, largely for their fins. The predator we've spent decades fearing is, in almost every measurable way, far more vulnerable to us than we are to it. Every time a great white circles cautiously before committing, testing rather than attacking blindly, it's behaving more carefully around us than we behave around it. So the next time you picture a shark rising silently from dark water, remember what's actually happening beneath the surface. Not mindless aggression. Precision. Memory. Restraint. An animal reading a language of electrical signals and ocean currents that we are only just beginning to understand. You weighed over 1,000 kilograms. Your eyes were rolled back. You moved faster than a car accelerates. And in the end, the most dangerous thing in the water wasn't you at all.